15 car brands are sinking faster than a cement truck in quicksand. While manufacturers keep telling you about strategic adjustments and market recalibrations, the reality behind closed boardroom doors is absolutely terrifying. Dealers are sitting on mountains of unsold inventory gathering dust, while finance departments watch interest charges pile up daily. Brands that once had customers camping overnight for new releases are now offering deals so desperate they would embarrass a going-out-of-business furniture store. You have been lied to about healthy market dynamics and strong consumer demand. The truth is, these companies are hemorrhaging cash and making moves that scream panic. Before we count down which 15 brands are collapsing hardest, smash that subscribe button because what I am about to expose will save you thousands on your next purchase. And you need to see which formerly untouchable brand at number 1 is already drafting bankruptcy contingency plans. Number 15, Mitsubishi. The invisible brand that dealerships forgot exists is fading from American consciousness entirely. Walk into any shopping mall parking lot and try to spot a new Mitsubishi. You will find dozens of Hondas, Toyotas, and Hyundais, but Mitsubishi vehicles are vanishingly rare. This invisibility is not accidental. It is the result of decades of neglect and mismanagement that have pushed the brand to irrelevance. Their current predicament shows in inventory figures that reveal a company desperately clinging to existence. Dealers report having 90-day supplies of Outlander Sport and Mirage models, vehicles so anonymous that most people could not identify them in a police lineup. The discounts required to move this metal are staggering, with some dealerships advertising $8,000 off manufacturer's suggested retail price on vehicles that only cost $22,000 to begin with. That is nearly a 40% price slash, the kind of number you see at liquidation sales, not functioning car brands. What makes Mitsubishi's situation particularly grim is their product development void. The company has essentially given up on creating competitive new models for the North American market. Number 14, Lincoln. Ford's luxury division is suffocating under the weight of its own irrelevance, despite spending billions on rebranding efforts. The nautical naming scheme that replaced traditional nameplates with terms like Nautilus, Corsair, and Aviator was supposed to signal sophistication. Instead, it created confusion among the exact demographic Lincoln needs to attract: older buyers with money who remember when Lincoln meant something. These customers knew what a Continental was. They have no idea what a Nautilus is supposed to represent. This identity confusion manifests in showrooms where inventory is piling up despite aggressive incentive spending. Industry tracking reveals Lincoln is offering average discounts exceeding $9,000 per vehicle, with some Navigator models receiving $15,000 in combined incentives just to compete with Cadillac Escalade and German rivals. These are not minor sales promotions. These are desperation moves by a brand watching market share evaporate in real time. The electrification stumble compounds Lincoln's problems. While luxury competitors race toward electric futures, Lincoln's electric offerings are rebadged Ford Mustang Mach-Es with slightly fancier interiors. Number 13, Ram. Yes, even Ram trucks are drowning in unsold inventory despite years of dominance in capability marketing. The heavy-duty oversupply is particularly acute, with dealers choking on unsold 2,500 and 3,500 models equipped with luxury features and $60,000 price tags. The market for these megatrucks is far smaller than production numbers suggest, and economic uncertainty has made even wealthy buyers hesitate before committing to vehicles with monthly payments exceeding $1,000. What started as a premium strategy has become an inventory nightmare. Ram's incentive acceleration tells the story manufacturers do not want you to hear. Rebates that were $2,000 last year are now $6,000. 0% financing offers that used to require excellent credit are now available to subprime borrowers. Free maintenance packages, enhanced warranties, and dealer cash are being thrown at anyone willing to take a test drive. These are not the actions of a confident brand. These are the tactics of a company desperate to move metal before interest charges destroy profitability. The fleet sales dependency reveals another troubling dimension. Ram has dramatically increased sales to commercial and rental fleets to maintain volume numbers that look respectable in press releases. But fleet sales destroy residual values and brand prestige. When rental car lots are filled with Ram 1500s, the truck's image as a premium purchase erodes. Nobody wants to buy what everyone else is renting. This strategy boosts short-term numbers while poisoning long-term brand equity. Number 12. Subaru. The all-wheel drive specialist that once commanded cult-like loyalty is watching its magic fade as competitors offer similar capability for less money. Subaru's resale value slide is the canary in the coal mine, signaling a fundamental shift in consumer perception. Three-year-old Outbacks and Foresters are retaining 8 to 10% less value than they did just 2 years ago. This erosion reflects growing skepticism about whether Subaru's all-wheel drive advantage justifies its price premium when nearly every competitor now offers all-wheel drive as standard or optional equipment. The competitive pressure from Korean brands is relentless. Hyundai and Kia now offer all-wheel drive systems that perform nearly identically to Subaru's in real-world conditions, but they package it with longer warranties, more standard features, and lower prices. A Hyundai Tucson equipped comparably to a Subaru Forester costs $4,000 less and includes a 10-year powertrain warranty versus Subaru's 5-year coverage. That is a devastating value proposition gap that loyal marketing cannot overcome. Inventory buildup at dealerships reflects softening demand that Subaru executives are reluctant to acknowledge publicly. Days supply has crept from healthy 45-day levels to concerning 70-day averages, meaning vehicles sit unsold for over 2 months. This forces dealers to discount, which undermines residual values, which makes leasing more expensive, which reduces demand further. It is a vicious cycle that is difficult to escape once it begins. Number 11. Mazda. This brand's premiumization fantasy is collapsing under the weight of reality as their upmarket bet fails spectacularly. The pricing strategy disaster is evident to anyone who walks into a Mazda dealership and looks at window stickers. A loaded Mazda CX-90 costs over $50,000. For that money, buyers can get into German luxury brands with better resale values and more prestigious nameplates. Mazda is asking customers to pay luxury prices for a mainstream brand, and customers are responding with a collective no thank you. This miscalculation has created inventory crisis at dealerships that invested in Mazda's premium vision. Showrooms that expanded to accommodate the larger CX-90 and updated CX-50 models are now stuck with 60 to 80 days of unsold inventory. Dealers who believed Mazda's marketing about competing with premium brands are now slashing prices by $5,000 to $7,000 just to generate showroom traffic. The incentive spending contradicts everything Mazda's premium strategy was supposed to achieve. The market positioning confusion is giving potential buyers whiplash. Is Mazda a value brand that happens to drive nicely, or is it a premium brand that happens to cost less than Germans? The company cannot decide, and customers cannot figure it out either. This identity crisis leaves Mazda vulnerable to competitors with clearer value propositions. Honda and Toyota offer better reliability reputations at similar prices. Korean brands offer more features and longer warranties. Number 10, Infiniti. Nissan's luxury division is experiencing a slow-motion collapse that everyone can see except apparently Infiniti executives. The model lineup stagnation has reached embarrassing levels, with some vehicles essentially unchanged for 7 or 8 years. The Q50 sports sedan, once a credible BMW 3 Series alternative, now feels ancient with outdated technology and styling that screams 2015. The QX60 was redesigned recently, but it is essentially a fancier Nissan Pathfinder that costs $15,000 more for marginally nicer materials and a badge most people do not recognize. This product staleness has triggered incentive explosion across the lineup. Infiniti now offers the highest average discounts in the luxury segment, with some models receiving over $10,000 in combined rebates, financing deals, and dealer cash. These are not strategic promotions. These are panic discounts by a brand watching relevance slip away in real time. When a luxury brand has to discount this heavily, it is no longer a luxury brand. It is just an expensive mainstream brand nobody wants. The dealer network deterioration provides physical evidence of Infiniti's decline. Standalone Infiniti dealerships are closing or merging with Nissan facilities at an accelerating rate. In major markets where Infiniti once maintained 3 or 4 dedicated showrooms, they are now down to one combination facility shared with Nissan. Each closure represents millions in lost investment and a tacit admission that the brand cannot sustain independent operations. Number 9. Volkswagen. The emissions scandal aftermath continues haunting every sales attempt despite being years in the rearview mirror. The trust deficit remains Volkswagen's heaviest burden, with consumer surveys consistently showing lingering skepticism about the brand's honesty and integrity. When your company was caught deliberately cheating emissions tests and lying to regulators and customers for years, rebuilding trust takes decades, not just a few apology commercials and executive replacements. This trust deficit requires massive financial incentives to overcome, creating a profitability crisis that makes every sale painful. Average incentive spending per Volkswagen has increased 40% over 3 years as the brand tries to bribe customers into forgetting Dieselgate. Tiguan and Atlas, models that should sell at premium prices over domestic competitors, instead require $4,000 to $6,000 in discounts just to generate consideration. This constant discounting trains customers to expect deals and destroys any hope of premium positioning. The electrification stumble is making everything worse. Volkswagen bet billions on electric vehicles with the ID platform, promising to lead the industry transition. Instead, the ID.4 launch was plagued with software problems, delayed features, and quality issues that undermine confidence in Volkswagen's engineering capabilities. When German engineering is supposed to be your calling card and your flagship electric vehicle feels like a beta test, customers rightfully question whether you know what you are doing. Competitive pressure from every direction leaves Volkswagen squeezed with no clear identity. Number 8. Buick. General Motors' most endangered brand is living on borrowed time as executives debate whether it has any future at all. The demographic time bomb is ticking loudly, with average buyer age exceeding 62 years old. When your customer base is literally dying of old age and younger generations show zero interest in your products, your brand has a terminal diagnosis. Market research shows Buick registers near zero awareness among buyers under 40, meaning an entire generation has no idea what Buick represents or why they should care. This generational disconnect guarantees decline regardless of product quality. The product relevance crisis compounds demographic problems. Buick's lineup consists entirely of crossovers that compete in the most crowded segments against dozens of alternatives. The Encore, Envision, and Enclave offer nothing distinctive that would make a rational buyer choose them over a Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, Mazda, Volkswagen, or any of 20 other competitors. They are not cheaper. They are not more reliable. They are not better equipped. They are not more stylish. They just exist, taking up space in an oversaturated market with no compelling reason to exist. Inventory accumulation at Buick dealerships reflects this lack of demand. Days supply hovers around 70 to 80 days, well above healthy levels, forcing dealers to offer aggressive discounts that destroy already weak residual values. Number 7. Chrysler. The one-car brand that forgot to build anything else is approaching its inevitable end. The portfolio extinction is nearly complete, with Chrysler reduced to essentially one product, the Pacifica minivan. Think about how absurd that is. An entire automotive brand, one of America's oldest nameplates, now offers a single vehicle line. You cannot sustain a brand with one product. The economics do not work. The dealer network cannot survive. Customer awareness evaporates. It is automotive suicide in slow motion. The minivan market limitation makes survival impossible, even if the Pacifica is excellent. Minivans represent less than 2% of total United States auto sales. Building a brand on 2% of the market is like building a house on sand. There is no foundation to support anything. Even if Chrysler captured half of all minivan sales, which it does not, that is still only 1% of the total market. No brand can survive on 1% market share. The math simply does not work. Dealer network collapse is the physical manifestation of Chrysler's failure. Standalone Chrysler dealerships have essentially ceased to exist. Every remaining dealer sells Chrysler alongside Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, with Chrysler getting a corner of the showroom if it is lucky. Many dealers do not stock Pacifica inventory at all, ordering them only when a customer specifically requests one. Number 6. Alfa Romeo. The Italian dream that became an American nightmare is experiencing its final act. The reliability nightmare has destroyed any hope of mainstream acceptance, with Alfa Romeo consistently ranking at or near the bottom of every quality and dependability study. Owners report electrical gremlins, transmission problems, engine issues, and build quality defects at rates that would embarrass brands costing half as much. When you charge $60,000 for a vehicle that spends weeks per year in the shop, customers eventually stop being charmed by Italian passion and start demanding Japanese reliability. The resale value catastrophe makes ownership economically irrational for anyone who understands math. 3-year-old Alfa Romeos lose 50 to 60% of their original value. Depreciation rates that rival exotic supercars without any of the performance or exclusivity to justify it. A Giulia that cost $50,000 new is worth $20,000 3 years later. That is $30,000 in depreciation, or $10,000 per year, or $830 per month before you even account for fuel, insurance, or maintenance. Nobody except the financially illiterate can justify that. Inventory stagnation at the handful of remaining dealers shows how few customers are willing to overlook these issues. Some dealerships report having 6 months inventory of Stelvio and Giulia models, vehicles that have been sitting so long they need battery charges before test drives. Days supply exceeding 180 days is not a sales slowdown, it is a brand death watch. Number 5. Genesis. Hyundai's luxury gamble is failing despite creating genuinely excellent vehicles that win awards from automotive journalists. The brand perception battle reveals why product excellence alone cannot overcome decades of brand equity deficits. Consumers who happily pay $70,000 for a BMW or Mercedes balk at paying $50,000 for a Genesis, even when the Genesis is objectively better in performance, features, and warranty. The luxury market is not rational. It is emotional and social. Genesis offers a logical choice. But luxury buyers do not make logical choices. The resale value struggle makes Genesis ownership financially painful compared to established rivals. 3-year residual values trail German competitors by 15 to 20 percentage points, a gap that makes leasing substantially more expensive despite lower purchase prices. When monthly lease payments on a Genesis G80 rival those of a BMW 5 Series because of residual value differences, Genesis loses its value proposition advantage. Customers are not stupid. They calculate total costs, and the math does not favor Genesis. Incentive escalation is undermining the premium positioning Genesis spent billions establishing. What started as minor loyalty bonuses and finance rate advantages has grown into substantial cash rebates and dealer incentives. Number 4. Cadillac. America's most iconic luxury brand is making its final stand on an electrification bet that could easily fail. The electric transition chaos has created dealer rebellion, as franchise owners balk at required investments for uncertain returns. General Motors demanded dealers spend hundreds of thousands upgrading facilities for electric vehicles or lose their franchises. Many dealers, especially in rural areas where electric vehicle adoption is minimal, chose termination over investment. Each departed dealer represents lost sales coverage and a vote of no confidence in Cadillac's strategy. The lyric disappointment stings particularly hard because it was supposed to save the brand. Production delays, limited availability, and software issues plagued the launch of Cadillac's electric flagship. By the time Lyrique reached customers in meaningful numbers, the initial excitement had faded and competitors had seized momentum. What should have been a breakthrough became just another pretty good electric SUV in an increasingly crowded field. Customer base alienation represents an existential threat to Cadillac's survival. The brand's traditional buyers are older, conservative, and skeptical of electric vehicles. Market research shows fewer than 25% of current Cadillac owners want an electric vehicle as their next purchase. By going all in on electrification faster than any luxury competitor, Cadillac risks losing its existing customers before attracting new ones. Number 3. Jaguar. The British luxury brand is experiencing terminal decline disguised as strategic repositioning. The quality crisis has destroyed whatever reputation Jaguar had left, with reliability rankings consistently placing it in the bottom 3 of all automotive brands. Electrical systems fail, engines develop problems, transmissions require replacement, infotainment systems freeze. These are not isolated incidents. They are systematic quality failures across the entire lineup that make ownership a nightmare. The value destruction through depreciation makes Jaguar the worst financial decision in the luxury segment. 5-year-old Jaguars lose 70% of their original value. Depreciation so severe it defies belief. A $90,000 F-Pace is worth $27,000 5 years later. $63,000 in depreciation, or over $1,000 per month. You could lease a new luxury vehicle every 3 years for that depreciation cost. Owning a Jaguar is financial self-harm. The dealer network disintegration shows how quickly a brand can collapse when nobody wants the product. Jaguar dealerships are closing nationwide as profitability becomes impossible. Those remaining often share facilities with Land Rover, giving Jaguar minimal showroom space and staff attention. In major metropolitan areas that once supported 3 or 4 Jaguar dealers, only one remains. Number 2. Maserati. The Italian luxury marque is collapsing under the weight of its own mediocrity and poor decisions. The quality failure is stunning for a brand charging 6 figures for vehicles. Maserati consistently ranks dead last in reliability studies, experiencing problems at rates double or triple the luxury segment average. These are not minor annoyances. These are catastrophic failures requiring tens of thousands in repairs on vehicles barely out of warranty. When a $90,000 Ghibli needs a $20,000 repair at 50,000 miles, customers rightfully feel betrayed. The value proposition collapse makes Maserati purchases indefensible. For Ghibli money, buyers can get a BMW 5 Series, Mercedes E-Class, or Audi A6, all superior vehicles from more prestigious brands with better reliability and resale values. For Levante money, buyers can get a Porsche Cayenne, the benchmark in luxury SUVs. Maserati offers nothing that justifies its pricing except exclusivity, but exclusivity born from nobody wanting your product is not a selling point. Inventory crisis at the handful of remaining Maserati dealers is severe, with some showrooms reporting 9-month supply on certain models. These vehicles depreciate while sitting unsold, creating financial losses that mount daily. Dealers are offering discounts approaching 30% off manufacturers' suggested retail price, desperation pricing that admits these vehicles are worth far less than their window stickers claim. Such massive discounts destroy residual values and make future sales even harder. Number 1. Tesla. Yes, Tesla tops this list, and if you think that is crazy, wait until you hear the evidence. The demand collapse is real despite what Elon Musk tweets. Tesla has gone from having 6-month waiting lists to offering immediate delivery on all models, a shift that signals dramatic demand softening. The company has cut prices 6 times in 18 months, with some models seeing 30% price reductions. When you slash prices that aggressively and frequently, you are not strategically positioning. You are desperately trying to generate demand that has evaporated. The price cut cycle has created resale value devastation for existing owners who feel betrayed. Someone who bought a Model Y for $65,000 last year watches Tesla sell the same vehicle for $48,000 today. That is $17,000 in equity destroyed not by normal depreciation, but by manufacturer price manipulation. Used Tesla values have cratered, with some models losing 40% of value in 12 months. This creates fury among owners who feel Tesla defrauded them by inflating prices, then crashing them. The quality reputation damage is accelerating as the honeymoon period ends. Early Tesla buyers tolerated panel gaps, paint defects, and build quality issues because they were supporting innovation. Current buyers are not as forgiving. They expect $70,000 vehicles to be built as well as competitors. And Teslas are not. Consumer Reports and J.D. Power consistently rank Tesla below average in quality and reliability. These ratings matter as mainstream buyers replace early adopters. Brand perception shift is turning Tesla from innovative disruptor to political lightning rod. Elon Musk's behavior and statements have alienated substantial portions of Tesla's potential customer base. Market research shows Tesla consideration rates declining sharply among demographics that traditionally embraced electric vehicles. When your CEO becomes more famous for controversial tweets than innovative products, your brand suffers. The competition arrival is crushing Tesla's monopoly on electric vehicles. So there you have it. 15 brands that went from untouchable to unsellable, from market leaders to desperate discounters. What this tells us is that no brand is immune when it loses touch with what customers actually want. Loyalty is temporary. Quality perception is fragile. And once momentum reverses, no amount of incentive spending can stop the downward spiral. The irony is that many of these brands still make decent vehicles, but they have lost the only thing that ultimately matters: customers who want to buy them. Which brand on this list shocked you most? Tell me in the comments which one you think will disappear first. Smash that like button so more people see the truth about what is happening behind dealership doors, and subscribe because the automotive industry collapse is only beginning and you need to stay informed before making your next vehicle purchase.